Hey, everybody. I'm Jason Bell, executive coach. And today we're going to be talking about what is an executive coach. Now, in previous videos, I talked more about what an executive coach is not by talking about what other um, labels people in the executive coaching field go by. But today we're going to start with what is an executive coach. And as such, since words have meanings, let's start with a definition. All right. So, an executive coach is a person helping higher management of a company, for example, the CEO, vice presidents, directors, and other leaders, to play their part in a more effective, balanced, and healthy way, to be a successful leader, to get the most out of their most valuable asset in the company, the people. Okay, so now that we have that definition out of the way, let's start to expound on it with examples. So, the first thing that I have to tell you is that in executive coaching, which is different from business coaching, and in business coaching, we'll cover that here in the next piece of content. In executive coaching, there's going to be two clients, with the executive being coached or the coachee, as well as the sponsor or the organization that has invited the executive coach to come in. So there are two clients, and what's most important is that the coachee and the sponsor realize that there's not going to be a crossing of information between the executive coach and either client. As an executive coach, the responsibility is to have the conversations to help develop the coachee into a better leader as we address issues. But it is not to relay what the issues are to the sponsor or what's happening or how the coachee feels about this. The responsibilities of the executive coach to the sponsor are to mention that the coachee is showing up and they're taking part in the conversation and taking the action items seriously to get to that next level. But then with the coachee, it's important that they realize none of this information is getting back to the sponsor. We could talk about, action items, health, whatever that could be hindering um, the coachee from blossoming into a better manager. And if we have to, we might have to talk about finding a different avenue if this is no longer the avenue that brings you joy. And that is a perfectly safe conversation to have in an executive coaching relationship. So, let's now that we've discussed that, right? We've talked about executive coaching, we've talked about who the two clients are in executive coaching. Let's get into a scenario. So, let's say a director has been with a company for 30 or 40 years. We'll say this person is 80 years old. Nothing wrong with that. But they're ready for retirement. And the next successor in that director's department is 20 years old. Nothing wrong with that. That 20-year-old has been there since 16, right? 4 years of understanding how the organization works, but has never been in a leadership position. So the sponsor has one of two options. Try to find somebody to replace the director that's retiring and paying a recruiter to get out there and uh, pay somebody with more experience to come in and then learn the organization and be effective. Or pay for an executive coach for that next person in line so that they can take all the knowledge with them as they blossom into this director role, as well as have a third party there to ensure that they're making great strides in leadership as well as in the organization. So you can see from this example that it would be beneficial for said 20-year-old to have somebody teaching them leadership or talking about whatever obstacles they're facing while the company can still produce their widgets or get their things out to market without hindering any of the other directors um, with the responsibility of teaching the 20-year-old how to best perform. So, in this example, you can see how I've slightly exaggerated some of the points and players involved, uh, only to illustrate how an executive coach could be effective in this scenario. Um, But now that we're done with that example, in executive coaching, there are a lot of things to consider. One is, will our clients get to where they need to be without us? Of course. Our clients are smart, our clients are capable, and they are going to achieve the things that they would have achieved without coaching. But there's a time element. And when you have an executive coach there, ensuring that you're doing the things that are most important to you and the organization, then you get there faster. In our previous conversations about coaching, we talked about a couple of sports figures and how the raw talent was inside said sports personality for years or decades. But it wasn't until they got with a coach to help hone that talent into the finest player or sport person that there has ever been. So the same thing can happen in executive coaching. So there we have it. We've defined executive coaching. We talked about the two clients in an executive coaching relationship. And we talked about a scenario in which executive coaching can help an organization. There are going to be many more ways that we talk about executive coaching and leadership and things of that nature. But if you have any questions, let me know. And if not, have a great day. I'm Jason Bell, executive coach, and talk to you later.